Alright, good day students. What we have today is measuration of plane shape. Squares of different areas and length are arranged as shown in figure 3H. So let's read the statement given. Squares are arranged in figure 3H above such that the area ratio and the distance between consecutive squares form geometric progression and what arithmetic progression with common ratio of half and what common difference of 3 cm. The common ratio is what? Half, and common difference is 3 cm respectively. Find the length of the square j. Find the length of this square j and the distance cb. The distance cb. Do you understand the question? Let's read the question again. Squares are arranged in figure 3H above such that the area ratio between consecutive squares form geometric progression. Area ratio between consecutive squares form what? Geometric progression with common ratio of half. Then return again such that the distance between consecutive squares form what? Arithmetic progression with what? With common difference of 3 cm respectively. This respectively, if you read the statement at once, it means that the geometric progression, the common ratio of the area is half, and then the common difference of between the distance between the squares is what? 3 cm respectively. So now I can clean the board. What you have to understand is that the distance between squares is in AP with what? With A, that is the first term, equals to 3 cm. That is what it is. And then I can clean here. And then the area ratio between squares is in what? Is in GP with what? Common ratio, which is R, equals to what? Half. That is it. So the question here is find the length of what? Square j. Find the length of square j. If we say that let's find the length of square j. So if we say that this length here, this length of this square, let it be S1, and here be S2, here be S3, here be S4, here be S5, and this one be S1. So you are asked to find what? S1. Find the length of square j. That is the question. And the second is what? Find the distance CB. So the second question is what? First question here is S1 is equals to what? And the second question is CB is equals to what? Now that we have understood the question, let's go into finding the value of S1 and the what? CB. So the first thing you have to know is we are given the area of the first square, the largest square, which is square A. Square A is the distance between squares is in AP with the first the first term to be 3 cm. So square A, when we are considering the square A is the first term of the squares. So this is the first term of the squares. In this case, we are given the area. In this case, the area, that is we are given the area to be what? I can call the area to be the area, sorry, square A is the first term of the word the squares. So in this case, because is the first term of the square, so let's say that A1, we are considering the squares as a term. So A1 in this case is 128. That is the first term, which is the same as if you are talking of T1, but in this case it is A1. So A1, when we are talking of the squares, is what? 128. So, and then if we are talking of this square here, this square here is the last square here is equals to what? The square J is what? Square J is, that is the first square. So square A is the first term of the square, so that count the square 1 2 3 4 5 6. Considering that we are told that the squares, the area of the squares form what? A GP. Since it form a GP, the nth term of a GP is given as AR n minus 1. So in the case that n is equals to 6, in this case we have T6 is equals to A r raised to power 6 minus 1, so that we have AR5. We know that the first term of the squares, the area was given as 128. A1 was given as what? 128. All you need to do is T6, which is the area of the J, is given as, we know the first term 128, multiplying, we know that R, it is given to be half raised to power 5. In this case you have 128 times what? 1 over 2 raised to power 5. So when you solve it, what do you have? If you solve it, you will have that the 16, in this case we have what? 128 divided by 2 times 2 times 2 will give us 4. That gives us 32. So 128 divided by 32 will give us what? 128 divided by 32 is give us what? You can use your calculator. So 32 multiplied by 6. Am I correct? How many of 32 will give us 128? So you can use your calculator. Let's use a calculator to do it first. In this case, you have 128 divided by 32, and we have 4. So T6, which is the area of J, is equals to 4 cm squared. Remember, it is in area. So T6 is equals to 4 cm squared, and then we know that the length as it is given is equal S1. So I can clean here. So from here, T6 is equals to S1 squared, because square is area of a square is one of the side length into two places, product of one of the side length. So in this case, you have S squared is equals to 4 cm squared. So that S1 is equals to the square root of what? 4 cm squared, and we have what? 2 cm. So you have gotten that the length of square J is equals to what? Is equals to 2 cm. So you come here and put it. So S1, which is the length of a square J, is equals to 2 cm, because you are asked to solve it. The next question here is to find the the length CB. So how do you find the length CB? We were told that the distance between squares, consecutive square, form AP with a common difference of 3. Form a GP with a common with a common difference of what? 3. So let's look at the second question. Let the second, third, fourth, and what? And the fifth squares have, which I have already written, have side length of SC2, SC3, SC4, and what? SC5. I have written them. So in order to find the length of CB, we must also get the length of the squares. And because we are told that the distance between consecutive square form what? Form AP with A equals to 3. Sorry, with D, common difference of 3. You can read the question again or see the question. With a common difference of what? 3. So as we have seen the first term to be 3, so since we know the formula for AP, the second term will be what? The second term, the distance, we now have to find the distances for first. Find the distances between consecutive square, since we are told that it form is AP a common difference of 3 cm. So unless we know that first term is 3, the second term will be what? 3 plus 3. The third term will be 3 plus 3 plus 3. The fourth term will be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Because it form what? AP. The fifth term will be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So that when you add it, you add each term, you have 3, 6, 9, 12, and then 15. So here is 3, the next will be what? 6 cm, and here will be what? 9 cm, here will be 12 cm, and here will be 15 cm. So the distance between squares form what? An arithmetic, between consecutive squares form what? An arithmetic progression with a common difference of 3 cm. And so there is no other first term other than the 3 we have seen, and we already given what? A common difference of 3. As you can see in square here, the first term here is 128 cm squared. So, and we are told that the area between each squares form a geometric progression with a common ratio of half. So once we have gotten the difference between the length, let's proceed to calculate the CB. Calculating here. So the first thing you have to do is to find the individual length, S2, S1, S2, S3, S4. So from here we have that S2 squared is equals to what? The second term. Remember that the square form what? Geometric progression with a common ratio of R. So Tn for a GP will be given as AR raised to power n minus 1. So that for the second term T2 we have what? R raised to power 2 minus 1. In this case we have AR, sorry. We have what? AR. So from here the first term is 128. I hope I'm not very fast, multiplying by half. So that when you do that, you have a value of 64 cm squared. Remember that is area, that's why I square it, because area of a square is what? One of the side length multiplied by 2. All these are squares, you were told. So they are all squared. So we have gotten the S2 to be equals to S2 squared to be equals to 64 cm squared. So S2 will be equal to what? This implies that S2 will be equal to the square root of 64 cm squared. In this case, we have what? 8 cm. So S2 is equals to 8 cm. Remember that this is 6. Sorry, because we have first term here, S1. So here will be 6. That is the length of J. So we started labeling from S1. Here is S1, the other is S6. S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6. So S6, which is the length of the square J, which we are told to find, is what? 2 cm. So the next is to find S3. So S3 squared is equals to T3, and that gives us a r raised to the power 3 minus 1. We have a r squared. So from here we have 128 multiplying into 1 over 2 squared, and we have what? 128 divided by 4. So 128 divided by 4 will give us what? We have 32 cm squared. So once we have gotten 32 cm squared, then this implies S3 is equal to the square root of 32. Simplify here, work. This is the same as 16 times 2. And in that case, we have 4 root 2 cm. So S3 is equals to 4 root 2 cm. So S3 is equals to what? 4 root 2 cm. Now let's find what? S4. I clean here. So S4 square is the same as T4, the fourth term of the consecutive squares. So in this case, we have AR raised to power 4 minus 1. We have AR raised to power 3. So that we have 128 multiplying 1 over 2 raised to power 3, and we have 128 divided by 8. So 128 divided by 8 will give us what? If you do that, into 12 will give us 1 carry what? Carry 3. Into 12 will give us 1 carry 4. Into 48 will give us 6. So in this case, we have that S4, this implies that S4 is the same as the square root of 16, and we have what? 4 cm. So S4 is equals to 4 cm. So the next thing is to find S5. Find the S5. So S5 squared is the same as T5. We have AR raised to power 5 minus 1. We have AR raised to power 4. So we have 128 multiplying 1 over 2 raised to power 4. What do we have? So from here we have 128 divided by 16, and we have what? 128 divided by 16 will give us what? We have 8. So this implies that is S5 is the same as the square root of 8, which is the same as the square root of 4 times 2, and we have 2 root what? 2 cm. So we come to this place and put it. S5 is same as 2 root what? 2 cm. That is it. So the next thing is to add up the values. I can clean here. We already gotten S6 to be equals to 2, which is the length of the square J. If you're asked to find the area, just multiply it by 2, just square it, you get 4 cm squared. So but the question is to find the length. So from here we now have to find CB, which is the length CB. So the length CB is equals to what? S1 plus what 3 plus S2 plus what 6 plus 4, which is S3 plus what 9 plus S4 plus what 12 plus S5 plus what 15, and then S1 you made another S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6. So now that let's add up. In this case we have CB to be equals to 3 plus 6. Add the numbers first. 3 plus 6 will give us what? 9, and 9 plus 9 will give us 18. 18 plus 12 will give us 30. 30 plus 15 will give us 45 plus S1, and this case S1 plus S2 plus S3 plus S4 plus what? S5 plus S6. So substitute the values of, you have gotten the values of the S you have gotten. In this case you have 45, and S1 is the same as 120. S1, have I gotten S1? So have I gotten the value of S1? So in this case we have to get S1 before we sum up. We know that this area is the same. S1 squared is the same as 128, which is the area of square A. So from here we have S1 to be equal to the square root of 128, and what do you have? So if you solve it, you will have that S1 is equals to, this is the same as 64 times 2. So we have 8. We know that 64, the square root of 64 is 8. So 8 root 2 cm. So once we have done that, you have to substitute the values. Substitute the values you got, that is S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. So from here you have CB equals to 45 plus S1. S1 is 8 root 2 plus what? S2, and we have that S2 is 8 plus S3, and S3 is 4 root 2 plus S4. S4 is 4. Hope you are seeing it. Plus S5. S5 is 2 root 2, and then S6. S6 is 2. So once we have gotten these values, sum them up. So from here we have 45. Collect terms that are common. We have 45, we have 8, we have what? 4, we have 2. Then collect one that has solved. 8 root 2 plus 4 root 2 plus 2 root 2. So in this case, you have CB to be equals to what? Sum them. 45 plus 8 will give us what? 8 plus 2 will give us 10. Am I correct? This will give us 10. 4 plus 45 will give us 49. 49 plus 10 will give us 59. plus we have 6 plus 8 will give us 12. 6 plus 8 will give us 14 root 2. Remember to put your unit. So CB is equals to what? 59 plus 14 root 2, all in cm. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please, before you go, click the subscription button to encourage me to bring more videos for your view. Like and share. Click the notification button whenever we have new update. We send you a text. I also, if you haven't gotten a Gmail account that will enable you subscribe, so you have any excuse, please just Google Gmail account and follow the instruction and create one. It's very easy, less than 5 minutes you have done that. So you'll be able to subscribe to my channel to encourage me. And I urge you to be a member of Manzana News Education Center Study Center. Go to our website at www.manzananews.com. Go to registration and register. Our price is the least in the market. It's a token price to encourage us, to give us the morale to buy pen, energy to do this for you. Have any question, don't hesitate to send the question for solution. So please do all those things. It will help you do well in mathematics. See you in the next lesson. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. See you in the next lesson. Bye for now.